Hi everyone, welcome back to Kettlebells Made Easy. My name is Rachel Nard. This is the 14-day fast track for beginners. And today, lesson 6, we are going into the kettlebell press and a few different variations. So if you're just starting with kettlebells, the only main variation that you should focus on is the military press or strict press, which just means you're only using your arms and you're pressing overhead. I will show you a few other variations if you're a little bit more intermediate that you might want to use, but definitely just focus on the strict press if you're just starting out, okay? So like we talked about in the other lessons, breathing, super important. So when you're doing the press, you'll do your clean, which if you remember, come through, inhale, so you'll go. Then when you go to press, if you're doing a strict press, you'll inhale here, exhale as you press, bring it back. We're going to go through a couple other variations where the breathing is the other way. But in general, get the bell into the racked position, inhale, exhale as you press. Okay? So you should be starting to get a little more comfortable with establishing your racked position, whether it's with one bell or two bells. Wrist neutral, we don't want to be holding it like that. And forearms straight. If we are doing a military press, which is generally a strength-based press, we're trying, whether we're going to go for 1 rep or 10, we're not using our legs at all. So we want to create as much tension through our arms as possible. And one of the best ways to do that is to crush the handle, okay? So if I'm doing one arm, I'll make a fist and I'll really crush that handle. When we go into these other variations, the grip is a lot looser because there's more of a ballistic nature to those variations, okay? First, we're just going to start with our standard one arm strict press or military press, okay? So you'll get into your power triangle, bell closer to one side, hip chop, reach. When I'm here, I'm going to crush the handle, make a fist, bring it back. Okay? You'll notice that sometimes when I clean, then I reset my feet. For the military press, I like my legs a little bit narrower, but again, you'll find over time what your preference is. Some people still like to press a little bit wider. I'll give you one from the side as well. When I come overhead, I just want to try to stay in this stacked position. So ideally, I have a line from my wrist, elbow, shoulder, bicep is in line with the ear, and my ribs are not flaring too much. They're still compact so that I can squeeze my core, squeeze glutes, legs, lots of tension in the strict press. So if I'm here, hip chop, reach, you don't have to use a super heavy weight for the technique practice. Pick a weight you could probably do at least 10 times and just do a few sets of 5, okay? So you're really focusing on your breath, your total body tension, and crushing the handle, okay? So if you focus on those things, you should feel your press really start to feel stronger than it ever has before. Once you feel good about your one arm press, you can go into the 2 kettlebell press. You'll get to practice your 2 kettlebell clean. So set up your power triangle, hip chop, reach, Same thing from the side. If you are doing a 1 kettlebell press, you might be able to get a little bit of lateral flexion, but if you have 2, you can pretty much only go a little bit back. So you want to try to stay as rigid as possible for the strict press. Power triangle, hip chop, reach, I'm going to tell you about a few more advanced, intermediate, advanced options for pressing. The first one is the push press. So the push press just means you have 1 dip in your knees. So you'll clean the bell. You're going to dip, punch, bring it back. Dip, punch, bring it back. Okay? This allows you to use a slightly heavier load because you're getting some momentum from the legs. So if I come here, dip, bring it back. Dip, bring it back. Same thing from the side. Dip, punch, dip, okay? Most people like the push press because it's pretty natural, just getting that 1 dip, punch. You can dip when you bring it back into the racked position, but you don't have to. So you could go dip, punch, bring it back, or you could go dip, punch, bring it back. Whatever you prefer. You mainly want to make sure that before you start the next rep, you're standing all the way up and you just have that 1 dip, punch. Okay? Most advanced option is the kettlebell jerk. And that is because you're doing 2 dips. You are catching the bell in a full elbow extension with your knees bent. So people either really like it or they hate it. If you hate it, just move on. It's not mandatory. Just work on your military / strict press or your push press, and that's fine. If you want to give a stab at the jerk, I'll show you air bells first. So you'll clean, you're going to dip. As you extend your hips, the elbow starts driving up, and before it's all the way extended, you're going to drop under it, and then you stand up to finish. Okay? So again, air bells, clean, dip, start to extend the hips, come onto the toes. As you do that, the elbow comes up, underneath, stand up. So when you add the weight, dip, all the way up. Bring it back down. I usually dip to catch the jerk. Dip. Show you from the side. Dip. Just starting with kettlebells, which is kind of the point of this fast track. Don't get too hung up on it and just move on. The last variation I want to show you is on the floor. It's called a kettlebell floor press. So it's a way to get some horizontal pressing in with kettlebells. Firstly, you can always do a push-up, but if you want to do it with bells, this is a good option, okay? So you'll have your knees bent. You can have your hips up if you want, or down. When you come down, my other hand, I like to make a fist. I'm gonna come down to about 45 degrees, touch my elbow to the floor, come back up, come down, and then when you bring it down to your body, just roll to the side. If you have super mobile shoulders, you might be able to get away with doing 2 bells at the same time, but I really don't recommend it. I always suggest that people start out with a 1-arm kettlebell floor press because the dismount can be funky. If you have 2 bells and you bring them back down, then you kind of have to just fling them to the side and pray that nothing gets yanked. So be smart about it. Start with 1 bell so that when you finish that side, you can use your other hand to spot and bring it down to the floor. That's really my only pet peeve with the kettlebell floor press. Otherwise, it can be a great tool. All right, guys, so we went through single kettlebell press, strict press, 2 kettlebell strict press, push press, which you can also do doubles, jerk, which you can also do doubles, and floor press, which again I recommend doing 1 arm. All right, I hope you learned some new fun cues from this video. Drop us a comment and give this video a thumbs up if it helped you. Make sure to check out trainwithwaves.com to learn a little bit more about our coaching and why it is so unique. I will see you guys next time for lesson 7. Bye.